With the 9th pick in the 2011 NFL Draft, the Dallas Cowboys select Tyron Smith, offensive tackle, USC.
A great opportunity. I feel very blessed to be in this spot right now.
And we were really impressed with the kind of background he's had.
Knowing that his backside is covered by Tyron, I mean, that's got to be the best feeling as a quarterback.
To me, he's the best in the game at left tackle. I guess people forget how good his feet are and how fast he is.
Tyron Smith, a wall over there, over and over again.
Looking at him, it's like, how is that even real? Like, how his arms are down to below his knees, like, big as my legs.
A lot of conversation about the elbow brace. That's really a knee brace, guys.
All right, T, let's get it. Best Daniel, come on, show him.
Tyron is one of the most athletic people I've seen. Man, you see him running with me all the way downfield, like 70 yards, and it just shows how big and fast he is.
Tyron Smith just relentless with his pass protection.
Tyron does a great job of getting back and always being balanced. And then when he's in balance, he can strike you with that power.
He's one of the great ones. He's going to go down as one of the greatest linemen to play this game, and rightfully so.
First things first, we'll start out with the contract signing.
Wish this were 12 years ago.
Yeah, Jerry, you're over here. Right there.
There you go. All righty. Good.
Officially a Cowboy.
Let's start this off. All right. Bear with me. I'm trying to make this not as long as possible. Good afternoon, everyone. First, I want to thank you all for being here today. Your support and guidance throughout my career have meant more than I could ever put into words. As you all know, I have always tried to avoid giving speeches in front of large groups, so bear with me today. If this was any other off season, I would be out there training right now, preparing for another year. But today marks a full circle moment for me. I have never imagined that a kid from Southern California who started out cleaning windows, working in janitorial jobs, will be standing here today, retiring after 14 years in the NFL. It's been quite a journey, and you can't talk about the ending without first appreciating the beginning. I come from a hard-working family, and I learned early on what you put into life is what you get out. My mom made countless sacrifices just to help me reach this point. I didn't have the chance to play football as early as other kids. I was told I was too big for Pop Warner, but once I reached high school, I met someone who believed in me and opened the door for new possibilities. And that person was Coach B. Duffy. Coach Duff saw something in me others didn't, and I'll always be grateful. He took me to camps all over California, giving me a chance to be seen and ultimately opening the door to one of the greatest colleges, USC. My years at USC will be unforgettable. Being close to home meant I could still do laundry at my mom's house and enjoy cooking home-cooked meals. Those 3 years flew by, but being a Trojan taught me the meaning of Trojan for life. And of course, there are two teams you will never lose to: UCLA and Notre Dame. As college came to a close, I met someone who would change my life, my agent, Joe. I didn't know back then how much you would impact my life. Joe, I knew I wanted you by my side. You guided me through the draft process, through the lockout, and gave me a place to stay. You've never just been my agent, you've been family. During the draft process, I visited a lot of teams, but one of the teams stood out, the Dallas Cowboys. The moment I stepped into Dallas, I knew this was home. I actually missed another team's interview because the Cowboys asked me to meet Jerry. As it turns out, I'm glad I missed it because Dallas became home. I still remember my rookie year like it was yesterday. With the lockout, everything felt uncertain. But I walked into camp and found myself surrounded by incredible teammates like Kyle Kozier, Doug Free, Jason Witten, Tony Romo, DeMarcus Ware, Andre Giroux, Jeremy Parnell, Des Bryant, Miles Austin, Jason Hatcher, Sean Lee, and so many others. They helped me shape me as a player, and I'm thankful for every one of them. To the coaches who believed in me, Jason Garrett, Hudson Houtt, and Mike Wojcik, thank you. Hudson taught me toughness, Bill Callahan sharpened me as a technician, and Mike Solari helped me bring the love of football back to me after injuries. I've been lucky to learn from the best, including Mike McCarthy. Over the years, the Cowboys became more than just a team. They became family. Guys like Travis, who held us all accountable. Zach, who led the room always and always had wisdom to share. Doug, who taught me toughness and what it meant to be a veteran. Ron Leary, my right-hand man, and the enforcer on our side of the line. LC, Lyle Collins, who became a little brother to me. And Tyler Smith, my new right-hand man, who I know will go down as one of the greats. To Tyler Biadasz, Connor Williams, Connor McGovern, and Terrence Steele, you all embodied the meaning of hard work pays off. I also want to shout out one of my favorite people, Joe Looney, who made the game fun every day. I also want to acknowledge the tight ends. Even though we had different roles, they was always a part of our room. Their presence and teamwork meant a lot to me. And to our backs, Zeke, TP, Darren McFadden, DeMarco Murray, you guys made us feel like we could do anything when you were behind us. I also want to recognize Dak Prescott, one of the best teammates I ever had. Dak cares deeply about everyone in the locker room, and he's more than a teammate, he's a lifelong friend. And I'll always have your back. You always be QB1 to me. Some of my favorite memories will always be grinding training camp with you guys, like Tyrone Crawford, D-Law, and Micah. To all the defensive players, I push for one more rep. Thanks for making me better, even though I annoyed you. And to Kyle Wilber, who always say after practice to put in extra work with me, I appreciate you more than you ever know. And I also want to thank the training staff, Brett, Greg, and Jim, and especially Hanson. Thank you for helping me. Thank you for keeping me healthy and always putting in extra time, even if it meant enduring playing my boombox like I was a DJ during rehab. To Cable and Brian, thank you for always helping me through many moments, both on and off the field. To Scott and Claire in nutrition, you always made sure I had what I needed to perform at my best. To the strength staff, Harold, Kendall, Cedric, and Braylon, I'll miss the workouts, the conversations, the laughs, and the old school music battles. Wojcik started with our 100 grand bets on song trivia, and we kept the tradition alive even after he retired. I look forward to continuing our annual crawfish boils too. To the equipment staff, Bucky, Dylan, and Mike, thank you for putting up with me on all the gear requests, all the adjustments, and for helping me hold this body together through the years. None of this would have been possible without my family. Mom, I'm blessed to have you here today. I can't express how much you've done for me. You'll always be my superhero, and it's no coincidence we share the same birthday. To my late Uncle Jerome, who followed my football career and was like a father figure to me, I know you're looking down today and so proud. To my children, Jackson, Steele, Seven, and my little junior TJ, you have my heart always. And to my wife, Holly, thank you for holding it all together, for putting up with me with my goofiness, my love for anime and gaming, and for being my rock through it all. I love you more than words can ever say. To Jerry Jones and the entire Jones family, thank you for believing in me, supporting me through the ups and downs, personally and professionally, and for taking a chance on me 14 years ago. While I regret never winning a Super Bowl, I feel like I already won with the family I've built, both on and off the field. To Cowboy Nation, thank you for embracing me, supporting me, and making these 14 years unforgettable. I'm excited for the next chapter and spending more time with my family and watching my kids grow up. But for now, it's time to go. I got kids to wrestle, and I'm a nighttime baby chef. Thank you.
We'll go ahead before we have you stand up and take questions, but I really could go on a long time about this. Jason Garrett, appreciate very much. It's very much in the spirit of what he meant to us, both on and off the field, for you to be here. We appreciate you being here today. And you ex-players that played with him, we do appreciate you being here. I can really say that no player, as a matter of fact, I think I go through staffs and I go through really people that aren't on staff, but close-in people with the Cowboys. Have I ever been more impressed with him both on and off the field? He's the youngest player I think that we've certainly had as a starter, and he was the youngest player in the NFL, I believe my facts are correct, for 2 years in a row, to show you how young he was when he came out. He came out with some outstanding tackles or offensive linemen that were outstanding in character. They were Rhodes Scholars, and one was unbelievably accomplished in his off-the-field background when he entered the NFL draft. But Tyron, with his mom and his family, Tyron would, after school, go clean buildings. Now, there's nothing wrong with that job. It's just that there's a little bit of funny feeling to it, but you usually clean buildings when everybody's gone, so that means it's after hours. And figuratively speaking, you literally go in and they lock the door behind you and you sit there and clean most of the night. Tyron's story, and you could tell it when you visited with him early when he was coming out in the draft, of his pride, and his pride from his parental supervision of teaching him work ethic and making him feel accomplished and a part of the team, although he was that young coming out. I thought he had, and many others did too, he had the highest character grade in the whole draft because of what he had done. His own coaches would make up excuses so that he might not have to go work in the buildings at night. And he started that at a tremendous young age. I will tell you right now, without fail, every move he made in his career, certainly with the Dallas Cowboys, and I'll dare say with the Jets as well, reflected that work ethic, along with his tremendous skill. And at a time in his life, right after he became in the NFL, his agent, and I'm not exactly known as somebody that'll get up here and brag about agents, am I? But his agent, Joe Panos, with him at a time in his life when he was working through the nuances of really impressive, serious family balance, where you are in the big picture. And I don't know that I've ever seen anybody, and I'm not calling it out as an agent, an attorney, a friend. I've never seen anybody do more and get involved more to help him than you did as his friend and agent. And I know why he spent the time giving you the accolades. But every step of the way, the guy that came out the most impressive, whether it was on the field or off the field, it was always Tyron. And he worked through those problems at that time, and I knew right then and there he was going to be an exception. There is no doubt in my mind that you're going to be in the NFL Hall of Fame. There's no doubt, and just a couple of months ago we were sitting here unbelievably with another player that will be there in the Hall of Fame. We won't have a player ever with the Dallas Cowboys that I can predict this, that shares better credentials on how they came, how they worked, how they used their background to work, and what they accomplished and meant to the team. It is a tragedy that we didn't get a Super Bowl with you sitting out there at that left tackle and sitting there with many of the other players that you've mentioned here today. But that doesn't take away from the fact of what you've accomplished in the NFL, Tyron, and that doesn't take away from the respect that you see in this room. It is an honor to have you having been and say that you were a Dallas Cowboy in your career. And I want to be the first one to shake your hand when you go in that NFL Hall of Fame. Now I think we'll open it up to questions.
Calvin Watkins, Dallas Morning News. Hey, buddy. How difficult was this decision to retire? Because I know you love this game a lot.
After this past year and then over the years of injuries and things like that, it just kind of felt like it was the right time to hang it up. And I don't want to be that guy down the line to where I'm struggling down the line, and I want to be healthy for my kids and be able to rush around my kids. I got some big kids now, and they ain't the normal size, so you got to be in shape for them. So the decision came, and it came easy. And I realized how much I put into this NFL, and I felt proud of what I did. So,
Clarence Hill, All City, Dallas, DLLS. Congratulations, Tyron. This question is for Jerry, and I know you don't make pronouncements. You're not wanting to get ahead of yourself with pronouncements, but you've already put him in the Hall of Fame.
Absolutely.
Zach's going to the Hall of Fame. We know that, right? You're already in the Hall of Fame. When will you put he and Zach in the Ring of Honor?
Well, again, there is no question they're going in the Ring of Honor. Let me be real clear about that. Right. And I must have missed that in my elaborate remarks. But without a question, we've never had a player play for the Dallas Cowboys that represents us, that played on and off the field the way that he's been a part of this team. And yes, he'll be going in the Ring of Honor.
Tyron, Todd Archer with ESPN. As you've made this decision, have any moments on the field come back to you that stand out to you, things that you've done, things that you've accomplished on the field come back to you?
For me, it's most of just being with my guys, the guys on the team that, we build relationships over time. And, back in 14, we had a game. It was a away game in the Giants, and for how that game ended, it just showed what an offensive line is capable of. And that was just everybody being a part of it and everybody having a piece of it, but everybody did their job to win that game. And that, over the years, just stuck with me. And that's everybody grinding together from the beginning until it gets to that point. So,
Tyron, John Machota with The Athletic. What do you think that you'll miss most, when you're doing the family thing and maybe you're watching a game on Sunday? What do you think's the part of the game you'll miss the most?
I would just say the off-season training and all the bonding that we always did, and all the trips and the training camp and all that things like that. And mostly anything, I just missed my guys. I missed my guys and missed the coaches, missed all the relationships. But obviously we'll continue that on best as possible. And that's pretty much it, yeah.
Nick Harris, Forward Star Telegram. Obviously a rich tradition of offensive linemen with this franchise. You're just the next piece of what that has been throughout this franchise's history. To the guys that are in this room right now still playing for this team, probably a transition period, I guess you could say, with the offensive line. What would you have to say to them to be the next part of that lineage?
Honestly, they're doing everything they're supposed to do right now. I'll just say more than anything, they know that this part of the year is time to grind and stay together and take for what the last year was and move on and make the corrections and get better as a group. And I'm pretty sure they're doing that already.
Hey, Tyron, Joe Hoyt, All City, Dallas. You talked about all the players he played with, including Zach Martin. That's a guy who just retired. You were here for that too. What was it like just having a guy like Zach Martin in that offensive line room and being able to work with him for all the years you guys did?
You know, for the group that we had, it was unbelievable. And you can't beat the group that we had. We felt like we was on top of the world and unstoppable, and there's no better feeling than that. And we felt like we couldn't be touched. And that's a credit to all of us putting all the work in. And, you know, I wouldn't change that for anything.
Hey, Tyron. Saad Youssef, The Athletic. We heard in recent years Micah talking about going against you in training camp in Oxnard. I'm curious from your perspective, who are some defenders that stand out to you that have been your teammates that you went against in Oxnard, all those practices?
I would probably say that man that's sitting in the back over there, D. Ware, taught me a lot. Taught me that, you know, you're not the biggest man on the field or the strongest man on the field, and it comes down to technique. And he taught me a lot. And it was games, you know, early on that I, you know, struggled with, and he pulled me to the side and worked with me and helped me be who I am today as far as a player. And I still owe the credit to that man for teaching me how to shave my head.
Newey Scruggs, NBC5 Dallas. Saad asked my question there, but what is your identity now that you're leaving the NFL? Have you figured out the things that you want to do as a man? I know you talked about being a father, but just the identity, because for so long, you're a Tyron Smith NFL player.
Well, for now, it's just me being a family man and being the best father and husband I could be right now, and anything else that goes after that will come. But that's my main focus right now, moving forward.
Garrett Podell, CBS Sports. Tyron, that left tackle quarterback relationship, always so important. You said Dak is your QB1 forever, and he kind of came along in the middle of your career. What is it about him and y'all's relationship that really stands out the way it does?
I just feel like over the years we have built a strong relationship, and I feel like as friends and as teammates, I feel like we have accomplished so much. And as for what we accomplished, I just never had that feeling before, and then for what everybody put into it, we just had fun. We made the game fun, and it had to be something that was difficult. Just go out there and play and enjoy the game, and that's what our group just had.
Ed Werder, WFA. Congratulations, Tyron. Jerry and Steven, I believe you had not drafted an offensive lineman in the first round since 1981 when you took Tyron. What was that scouting process like, and how difficult was it to commit to a 20-year-old first-round draft choice on the offensive line?
Steve?
Well, I think, you know, one of the things about left tackles, when you find them, you keep them. And, of course, we had 2A for most of Jerry and I's tenure here when we drafted Tyron. And we knew we needed to, you know, come up with a big-time player. That's why Jerry has such good recollection of the other 3 tackles that were in the draft. But, you know, the big thing was, you know, obviously he was a young guy, but yet a dominant player. And, you know, I also remember he played a lot at right tackle at USC, and there's a little question, can he be the left tackle, but not a big one. It was small. And, of course, Hudson was quick to say he'll be just fine at left tackle. So, no, and then, of course, his athletic ability, you look at him on the combine picture, and he sure doesn't look like an offensive lineman. I mean, he was cut like this, and but no, he was the obvious choice for us. You know, Hudson was laying in front of the train for him. Jason was fired up about it, and it was an obvious choice for us.
Jason, I agree. I can remember Jason had a real affinity for changing our pattern of not drafting that high, using that high draft pick. We usually thought it was going to be a pressure player, a corner of that nature. And he had such a promise, and then his character was work. And he was so proud of it, as young as he was, when we'd sit down and visit with him. He was just so proud of how he had worked with his family. And his mother and dad were entrepreneurs. They had their own business. And he just was so proud in that. You could tell that that had a good chance to transfer over to the team concept. And let me tell you, in the offensive line, you gotta not only have the competes out there one-on-one, but it is a we thing. And you got to have that really a lot of pride in a job accomplished by all, and that's the entire offensive line as a group. To do that and yet have the kind of skill level and, if you will, the determination and fit in, it changed our way of thinking about taking that number one pick and using it on an offensive lineman, and he did that.
Michelle Montaigne, WFAA. Tyron, can you walk us through the conversation with Jerry about signing the one-day contract and getting to retire at Cowboy?
That conversation was pretty easy. I think we started talking a little bit about it before Zach retired, and kind of just came full circle when when Zach's retirement came. Kind of pulled to the side and started talking about it, and there was no question I was going to come here and retire as a Cowboy.
Well, I know from my perspective, it was like losing a family member when he went to the Jets. It really was. And I couldn't talk to him. I couldn't have a small talk. And we'd had some great times in his career about things that you could talk personal about. And that's what I've spent a lot of time today talking about, how admirably he handled that as a man. And yeah, it was a man when he was 23 and 24 and 25 years old. And Joe remembers exactly what the issues were and what he was at that time. Well, I really had a tough time picking up that phone when he left us. And so it was with great pleasure that I put that old Jones on this contract today that will be the last one he signs in the NFL.
Tyron, Jeff Kolb with Fox 4. Congratulations once again. Two-part question. First, going off of what Jerry's just saying about how hard it was when you left, how hard was it for you?
It was very difficult decision for me. It wasn't just I was leaving home and leaving my guys here. It was, moving my family and everything over there. But, when I left, it was just another experience for me, but this was always going to just be home.
And then part two, you said that you were told you were too big for Pop Warner. What do you remember about that?
For us, we were working in janitorial business, and I saw, my other siblings playing sports, and I always wanted to play football. And we finally, went to this park and tried to sign up for Pop Warner football. Stepped on the scale, and the guy said, "You're too big for your age group." And so I kind of just stepped back. It is what it is. I'll just continue grinding, working, and until I get my opportunity in high school. So that's pretty much how it went.
Tyron, you talked about Tyler Smith earlier. What makes him, in your mind, the next one to follow you, Zach, Travis, those guys?
I feel like Tyler has came in and set the standard that he wants to be great when he first got here, and he has just increasing potential every year, and it's just his work ethic and what he puts into this game and how dominant he is on the field. It just shows every year that he is getting better, and he has potential to be, like I said, one of the greats, and I just can't wait to see that show.
And late in your career, we always say you're a veteran. You're getting up there in age. All of a sudden today, you're young again. What's that like?
Might feel younger than mine, but the body's still old.
It's good.
Tyron, what does it mean to you when you see your ex-teammates here? Dak is here, Micah, and Biotis and those guys.
And this just means a lot, and it's hard to put everything into words of how it means to me for them to be here. I love their support, and I appreciate them being here. And their family are my brothers, and it's just a relationship for life.
Tyron, you signed a unique 8-year contract in 2014. Just how did you know that this is just long-term where you wanted to be? You don't really see 8-year contracts get signed super often.
Well, playing here before I signed that contract, I already knew that this was going to be home, and I wanted to do whatever it took to be here for a long period of time. And, how everything went, but, come back here and still sign a contract to be back home. But, it's just the way how things goes. But kind of losing a little bit. But, I wish I could have played here a little bit longer. Wish I could have played till I was 40. but that's not how things go. You got to listen to your body and move on from there.
Sydney Staples, D210 Sports. Tyron, when looking back on your career in the NFL, what are some of those teaching points you can pull from it to teach your own kids?
I would just say, like I said in my speech, is more of the hard work you put into life is what you're going to get out of it. And no matter what you want to do, you want to play ball like I did, or you want to do anything else, you can do whatever. I've been blessed to give my kids the opportunity to do whatever they want to do in life. And these two have helped me create that. And so, yeah.
Tyron, we've talked about the battles you had with DeMarcus Ware and how that helped you. And you did the same thing with Micah. Can you just talk about going against both those guys? And why is that important, for you to take Micah under his wing and teach him, and like Ware did you to take you under your wing and kind of his wing and teach you?
Because early on, D. Ware approached me and it helped me along. I just understood what it meant. It took all of us. And so if anything I could help any other teammate, bring them along or help them out, any kind of thing that nobody else is telling them, just to help us win or help that player be just a better person or better player, I'll give them that advice. And like this game, it's not just one person here and there. It takes all of us to win this game.
Okay, we'll have a little photo op presentation here.